Look, the Stoics say,
The Stoics?
the Stoical philosophers say, if you remove the phrase, I have been injured, you have removed the injury. Now, think. I know that you're upset. Just tell me, literally, what wrong have I done you?
Whatever you have done to me, to the extent that you've done it to me, you know, rather than to me as a student, and so as the student body is contained in my report to the tenure committee.
Well, all right. Let's see. He reads, I find that I am sexist, that I am elitist. I'm not sure I know what that means, other than it's a derogatory word, meaning bad. That I insist on wasting time in non-prescribed, in self-aggrandizing, and theatrical diversions from the prescribed text. That these have taken both sexist and pornographic forms. Here we find listed instances. Closeted as a student, told a rambling, sexually explicit story in which the frequency and attitudes of fornication of the poor and rich are, it would seem, the central point. Moved to embrace said student, and, all part of a pattern, he reads, that I used the phrase the white man's burden, that I told you how I'd asked you to my room because I, quote, like you, he reads. He said he liked me, that he liked being with me. He let me write my examination paper over if I could come back oftener to see him in his office. To Carol, it's ludicrous. Don't you know that? It's not necessary. It's going to humiliate you, and it's going to cost me my house, and...
It's ludicrous.
John picks up the report and reads again. He told me he had problems with his wife, and that he wanted to take off the artificial stricture of teacher and student. He put his arm around me.
Do you deny it? Can you deny it? Do you see? Don't you see? You don't see, do you?
I don't see.
You think you can deny that these things happen, or if they did, and they meant what you said they meant. Don't you see? You dragged me in here. You dragged us to listen to you go on and on about this or that, and we don't express ourselves very well. We don't say what we mean, don't we? Don't we? We do say what we mean, and you can say that I don't understand you. Then you
consult the report.
That's right.
You see, can't you? You see what I'm saying? Can't you tell me in your own words?
Those are my own words.
He told me that if I would stay alone with him in his office, he would change my grade to an A. What have I done to you? Oh my God, are you so hurt?
What I feel is irrelevant.
Do you know that I tried to help you?
What I know, I have reported.
I would like to help you now. I would. Before this escalates.
You see, I don't think that I need your help. I don't think I need anything you have.
I feel.
I don't care what you feel. Do you see? Do you see? You can't do that anymore. You do not have the power. Did you misuse it? Someone did. Are you part of that group? Yes, you are. You've done these things and you say, oh, let me help you with your problem.
Yes, I understand. You're hurt. You're angry. Yes, I think your anger is betraying you down a path which helps no one.
I don't care what you think.
You don't? But you talk of rights. Don't you see? I have rights too. Do you see? I have a house, part of the real world, and the tenure committee. Good men and true.
Professor?
Please. Also part of that world. You understand? This is my life. I'm not a bogeyman. I don't stand for something
Professor? Professor, I came here as a favor, or at your personal request. Perhaps I should not have done so, but I did, on my behalf and on my behalf of my group. And you speak of the tenure committee, one of whose member is a woman. And as you know, and although you might call it good fun, or a historical phrase, or an oversight, or all of the above, to refer to the committee as good men and true is demeaning remark. It's a sexist remark, and to overlook it is to continence continuation and of the method of thought. It's a remark.
Oh, come on. Sufficient to deprive a family of?
Sufficient. Yes, it is a fact, and that story which I quote is vile and classist and manipulative and pornographic.
It's pornographic?
What gives you the right, yes, to speak to a woman in your private? Yes. I'm sorry. You feel yourself empowered? You say so yourself, to strut, to posture, to perform, to call me in here? You say that higher education is a joke and treat it as such. You treat it as such and confess to a taste to play the patriarch in your class, to grant this, to deny that, to embrace your students.
How can you stand there, Anne?
How can you deny it? You did it to me here. You did it. You confess. You love the power to deviate, to invent, to transgress whatever norms have been established for us. And you think it's charming to question in yourself this taste to mock and destroy. But you should question it, Professor. You should pick those things which you feel advance your publication, tenure, and the steps to get them you call harmless rituals, and you perform those steps, although you say it is hypocrisy, but to the aspirations of your students, of hardworking students. You come here, you slave to come here. You have no idea what it costs me to come to this school. You mock us. You call education hazing, and from your so protected, so elitist seat, you hold our confusion as a joke and our hopes and efforts with it. Then you sit there and say, what have I done? And ask me to understand that you have exploitative and
aspirations too.
You have aspirations, and say what I have done. I ask you to understand that you have aspirations too. But I tell you that you are vile and that you are exploitative, and you possess an ounce of the inner honesty you describe in your book. You can look in yourself and see these things I see, and you can see revulsion equal to my own. Good day.
She prepares to leave the room.